Well, the haters gonna hate, 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 and the faker's gonna fake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna make, making luck, a Dominion podcast.
Yeah.
What I meant
I
was
thought you
that
said
I
you
had.
were going to press the button. Whatever.
Welcome to Making Luck, a Dominion podcast.
A button pressing podcast.
A button pressing podcast.
I press all your buttons. I'm Wandering Winder.
No comment. And I'm Adam. Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm a little tired, but you know that's life. It's Thursday night, and I am not going into work tomorrow because I worked my 80 hours for the pay period, and I'm not authorized to work any overtime, so I couldn't go in if I wanted. But it's a good thing I don't want to go into work tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna sleep. It's gonna be amazing.
Sleep sounds great.
Yeah, my wife tells me I don't get enough of it, and she's totally right. But does that mean I get more sleep?
I'm gonna
Spoiler
guess no.
It doesn't. Yeah, that would just be too easy. So yeah.
We had a kingdom from last time.
We did, but before we get started, I wanted to just make a quick announcement. Upcoming in just over a month is going to be my 12th Dominion tournament with physical cards coming up. That's going to be held in Cincinnati, Ohio. There's going to be a link in the description to a Facebook event or lots of other places where you can find more details about the tournament if you're interested. That's going to be on March 28th, 2020. That's a Saturday. We're going to start at 1 p.m. You don't have to RSVP. You can just show up if you want to. But if you're traveling in from any distance, maybe more than an hour's drive, I'd recommend just letting me know that you're planning on coming. It's happened a couple times before that, like people are running late, traffic. Used to be weather, but I don't anticipate weather being an issue for the end of March. Or someone got pulled over for speeding. And if that's possible, I want to make sure that you don't drive all that way and then have to miss the first game of the tournament or anything. So I'll give you my contact information.
I do have two notes about that. One, don't speed. And two, make sure you're wearing your seatbelt.
Both of these are not only very good points, but I think they're very important points. So thank you for bringing both of those up, Wandering Winder.
Yeah, well, I believe in road safety.
I also believe in road
It's
safety.
all we've got. It's actually not all we've got, but
it's basically all we've got. Yeah. So the entry fee for the tournament is $5. $4 of every entry fee goes into the prize pool, which will be given to the top finishers. So you'll be playing for that. You'll also be playing for the chance to, if you win the tournament, play me in a trophy match for the illustrious Scout Trophy. If you win that, you get to hold on to the Scout Trophy until the next tournament, and you don't lose anything if you lose, and you get to pick whatever kingdom you want. You can go first. I'm in touch with RGG about potentially getting some promo cards. I can't promise I will. I'm going to have some kind of snack for everyone who shows up, and I'm working on getting one of these guys. If you're a video listener, you'll see a picture. I'm holding it up to the webcam. It's a little wooden box with a Dominion logo on it. I got this one for, I have two of them because I won 2 tournaments where they gave these out. But I'm actually going to get a hold of one of these. Hopefully, I don't have it yet, but I should be able to give one of these out to the winner of the tournament as well. So I hope you can make it and tell all your friends. What was that, Wandering Winder?
I have a question.
Yes?
It's about the Scout Trophy.
Yes.
You called it the illustrious Scout Trophy?
I did.
Isn't it more of an infamous Scout Trophy?
I mean, it can be both, right?
No comment. So we had a kingdom from last time.
We did, didn't we? Last episode was about Swindler, and this kingdom had Swindler in it. Didn't it have Swindler in it, Wandering Winder?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
What it had in it was Encampment, Gear, Oasis, Swindler. Oh, I guess it was. Messenger, Counterfeit, Haunted Woods, Margrave, Outpost, Peddler, and the projects Silos and Guildhall. Uno más tiempo? That's not the right time.
Una vez más.
Yeah. for our audio-only listeners, that'd be Encampment, Gear, Oasis, Swindler, Messenger, Counterfeit, Haunted Woods, Margrave, Outpost, Peddler, Silos, and Guildhall.
And
So
this one
the
also
thing
had
I want to say,
shelters, by the way. Go ahead.
oh, it did have shelters. That was very important. I didn't say it either time.
Yeah.
Mea culpa. It did not have colonies though, which you might think it did have because like Peddler is from anyway. Um,
Yes, Wandering Winter.
I am such a great host.
We're both in a mood, aren't we? Oh, this is going to be a good
So
episode.
you know
Welcome to episode.
last episode we talked about how some people really dislike Swindler because it makes games complete luck fests, and I said I think that's pretty overstated because a lot of times there's a lot of skill you can bring to Swindler games.
Uh,
I think that's true,
yeah.
but this is a great example of Swindler making the game quite a luck fest. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
man.
just got done playing a few games with this kingdom. I actually got them on video, so they'll be on the old YouTube channel. But man, it brought me back. Let me tell you.
So we could talk about like, do you want to open Swindler Gear or Swindler Oasis or Swindler Silver or Swindler Silos? And
And we did
like,
talk about that last time.
I still kind of like Swindler Oasis. You still
Yeah.
like Swindler Silver.
Yeah,
I think
it
we
makes
both still
very little
think it really
difference.
makes much less difference than what your Swindler hits.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Much less difference than what your Swindler. You could open
Whew.
Swindler. You could
I
open.
don't particularly like that one, but
You want to open with at least one Swindler. I'm pretty sure of that.
defo.
Because Swindler's pretty good here. Hitting your opponent's encampments is real nice because I got to tell you, an encampment is a much better card than an estate.
Yeah. Hitting the fivers.
Counterfeit is good. Margrave was pretty good. Maybe you want a second Counterfeit. Maybe you want the Margrave. Impossible to tell because the Swindler stuff is just more important.
Tell me how you really feel.
I feel like Silos was actually pretty good. I don't think I want to open it, but I liked getting it later.
I mean, Silos is fine if you're not getting hit by Margrave attacks, and it's not fine if you are.
That's probably a pretty good point. Like you weren't getting Margrave so early, so it had more time to do stuff that was good for me.
Sure.
Yeah, basically, I don't think either of us ever got a second. Like I got a second Swindler, but it was after you'd swindled my first one into a silver, so I never had more than one in my deck at it. Well, actually, I think that's not true. I think there was some game where I got a second one in my deck, like at the end after it didn't matter at all because I was a million miles behind. But like I don't know. Maybe you could get a second Swindler at some. I don't like opening two, but at some point getting another one, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it's I don't think it's a huge consideration. The thing about second Swindler is, I mean, your terminal space is limited, right?
Yeah.
It's limited by the number of encampments that you can keep into your deck. And you definitely want at least one Margrave. I mean, it is a very good source of draw. You want to draw some cards.
Also, given how village limited you are, so like usually shelters is a slight dissuasion from Swindler, but you actively want to hit their necropolis here.
Sure, I'm very happy if that particular thing happens. I'm very unhappy if I hit either of the other two shelters, but what are you going to do?
Right.
You're just going to get lucky, right? That's what you're going to do.
But you're also unhappy if you hit an estate usually. So I think like the necropolis versus the other two shelters is, I don't know. Maybe it's still slightly worse than if it was estates, but it's whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, sure. I mean, really, what I want to be doing is
feeling about the whole kingdom.
Hope your Swindler hits the right thing. What you really want to be doing is hitting their coppers, because once you turn them into curses, they can't be counterfeited. They're around forever, and that really stinks.
Until they get swindled and the curses are gone, which never probably will happen.
Yeah, but I mean, it probably could in theory, but I think realistically the game is going to be decided before the curses run. The game is going to be decided before peddlers run. And so the concern is, hitting the coppers before counterfeit can get them. And the concern is not, oh, golly gee, what if the peddlers run and I swindle peddlers into provinces, right?
Right.
So I think that's where the game is won and lost, and certainly having Swindler in your deck and opening with the Swindler is a great way to make sure that has a chance of happening in your favor.
There is one really interesting question that I think masochists might want to figure out on this board.
What's that?
Is at what points, if ever, would you prefer taking gold to plunder? Because gold
If I had
is,
the option of either one,
yeah. Because gold is
it's
kind
really
of
hard to.
unswindlable because they just have to give you a gold back unless the gold's run out, which is very unlikely to happen. But
I understand that, but I still have a hard time seeing myself buying gold over plunder if I have the option for plunder.
I mean, that's kind of how what my gut is, but I don't know. I had to think about it the time it came up. I'm like, maybe I should take a gold instead, and then I took a plunder.
Yeah. But it's good to think about things and go through the process, but like that VP token's really stinking good, and
It's but it's a much closer question than normal.
I guess, sure, yeah. A Swindler will make it that way.
Perhaps still not being close at all.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So I have nothing more to say about this kingdom, and I'm glad it's over.
I have something more to say about this kingdom. I don't want to
What's
think
that?
about it again. Let's move on.
Great. This is episode 100 of Making Luck, a Dominion podcast. Wandering Winder, we did it. The two of us, with no help whatsoever, we did it.
That's right.
Got here.
Screw you, Jake.
Oh, that was funny because but anyway, while 100 is it's a nice number. Especially considering that for every finger on my hands, we have done an episode of Making Luck. I would prefer to celebrate the multiples of 55. So, 110 is when I'm going to pull out all the stops. But I thought we'd do a little something special for episode 100, yeah?
Yeah.
And by special, I mostly mean different, but I actually think a number of people are going to like this. It'll be a welcome change. And hey, if this is popular, maybe we'll do more of these, yeah?
Hopefully that number is not 0, but I definitely think it will be a number.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear of your confidence, Wandering Winder.
I think it probably will be greater than 0. I think at least I will like it. So there you go.
Yeah, it's nice because the point of this is really, an important part of it, I guess, is that we don't prepare for this, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to roll a bunch of randomly generated kingdoms.
Yep.
And then we're going to talk about them.
Yep.
And the whole point is we've never seen these before, so it's kind of our first impressions. So not only is it just a nice little exercise to see what would you be doing and how does it compare to us in sort of a rapid fire context, but also you can get a little bit of an insight into the way we just analyze kingdoms in general. I know that way back in the day, in the first incarnation of the podcast, you and I did an episode about openings.
Yeah.
But you can talk about openings in theory, or you can just look at a bunch of them and see things in context, and they teach very different things.
I believe that was episode 5.
It was one of the first 6, yeah.
Oh.
I don't remember exactly which one, but I believe you. So
I just want to make one note about this, and that is audio-only listeners. We love you, but we're going to be reading a lot of kingdoms, so we're just going to read them once. We're not going to do it twice.
Sorry.
Hopefully you can either pay attention well enough to just know the first time, or you're a video listener, or you can have the little move back 15 seconds button on your podcast playing app or device. And if you need to hear it again, you can do that, hopefully. But if you're driving, please practice road safety.
That's more important than listening to a podcast about a card game in the best possible way. But yeah, we're not going to be doing pauses, so pause yourself if you want a little bit of time to think and replay over the kingdom, and we'll make sure to have pictures of all these up on the videos if that's the way you prefer to consume this. So, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's make some magic. I need you to click the button.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. Oh, hey. Oh, that's funny. I don't know if I want to edit this out, but I just
I know you don't want to edit it out. You
I'm not
actually edit,
gonna.
though. You actually edit. Like, if it were me editing, I would just be like, I never edit anything unless it's really egregious. Oh, I should hit ready again.
That it was I forgot to take off the card requirement, so I just
Yeah,
rolled into
for our
the last kingdom that
audio-only
we never
listeners,
want to see again.
it was the same one that I never wanted to think about again.
That was pretty good. All right, I'll read this one. So in this kingdom, we have cargo ship, philosopher's stone, storeroom, advisor, fortress, herald, navigator, smithy, embassy, witch, and then we have the events, raid, and pathfinding.
Okay, so the first thing I notice here is that there's no trashing, thinning stuff.
Yeah, there's no trashing and there's witch, and that sucks.
Yeah, so Witch looks like it's going to be real good.
I agree.
There is also pathfinding. And between Advisor, Fortress, Herald, and most importantly, Pathfinding, I think you might be able to do some stuff. I want to give a shout out to Storeroom Philosopher's Stone, which, while bad,
Ooh.
is much less bad. Like, it's
Wait a second. That's you know what? If Embassy wasn't here, I'd actually seriously consider that. So here's what I'm thinking. Which is obviously important.
Yep.
You can't trash the curses. That is priority numero uno.
Mhm.
And I intend to open with the mindset of I want witch in my deck and I want to play this thing as soon as possible. So on a 5-2 or 2-5, I'm
opening
opening with a witch,
Yeah,
and
I'm
I'm going to be
definitely
very
doing
happy.
Yeah.
On a 3-4 or 4-3, I will be I'm either getting silver or cargo ship silver, and I'm leaning pretty strongly towards the cargo ship just so I can play that witch sooner.
Same here. I want to get the cargo ship because either it's going to, most likely, it's going to be the turn I have the cargo ship, I can probably buy witch and then put it in my next hand, which is great. Or failing that, I'm going to be able to like buy a treasure, which will pretty ensure me getting witch the next turn.
Yeah. Okay. That I didn't think about that. Even if you miss 5, it really helps you hit 5. So yeah, I'm pretty sold on the cargo ship. I mean, I don't like having the terminal in my deck, but I think you might like it a little more. It sounded like you wanted to do something different than me though, because
No, that's what
I
I want
don't want
to do.
to. I don't want to
After
put
that,
advisors, heralds, or fortresses in my deck.
I want to stick fortresses and yeah, I want to stick that's probably not advisors, but fortresses and heralds. I do want to stick in my deck, but I want to start by getting probably 2 witches. But I'm likely to get a fortress. Like start switching to getting fortresses after I don't know. I have maybe just the 1 cargo ship in silver. When I hit exactly 4, get fortress. I do want to be able to hit 8 for pathfinding, so I can stick it on probably fortress. If pathfinding weren't here, I don't think I would be building that way. But because pathfinding's here and there's storeroom to be plus buy, I think I do.
Yeah. So I actually I don't think that deck is. I mean, I guess it's okay. I just think Embassy's a really good card, and I don't see. I mean, after the curse split is contested, I don't see a way to catch up in terms of like playing an attack repeatedly to shut your opponent down or some other source of points. So I'm really worried about a player that doesn't go for fortresses and heralds, but rather shoves an embassy or 2 in the deck
And gets a bunch of
just
treasures.
getting too many points, and then you're not really able to catch up effectively.
But Adam, I can buy a raid every turn.
You can do that. That is a thing you can do. That's great. I'm leaning towards embassy here.
I don't plan on getting raid every turn. You want to make? Oh, I can make you resign. You want? you want to? Do you want to go embassy after just 1 witch, or do you want to get a second one?
Well, that depends. It depends on draws and a lot of other things, but I'm leaning towards 2 witches. But it depends. I don't want to commit right
Sounds
now.
like a lot of
I think
terminals.
It does, but Embassy, it's a soft terminal. Embassy doesn't mind having other terminals in the deck.
Well, except it also kind of want to sift out like all the purples and greens. So
yeah,
I don't know.
does. I mean, when I see the thing is, I don't. That's not a decision that I have to make right
No, it's
now.
not. And
And once
this is
I have to
actually
make that decision,
this
yeah,
is
go ahead.
actually a really good point for this kind of an episode, I think, right?
Definitely.
Something I want to talk about is don't make decisions before you have to. And in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, stuff like that is not a decision you need to make right away, right? The decision you need to make right away is, do I want a cargo ship or not, right? And
Yeah.
whether you might want to be getting more witches and embassies and whether you want to get fortresses and not is going to play a role in whether you get cargo ship or not, right? But you can leave
I
yourself with some
suppose.
options, right?
Yeah.
And you're not making like a hard, firm, fast commitment just by, it's not going to dramatically change what deck you're building by opening cargo ship or not, right? You're more or less going to be building a similar deck, right?
In this case, I don't think it changes it, but I mean, those are the things I'm thinking about in an opening, and maybe in a
Right.
different kingdom. It
So
would.
so
Yes.
that's why I'm bringing it up, because there have been other cases where it's like I need to decide how long will this take versus how long will that take. They're totally different decks, but I need to decide on turn 1 because I'm either going to be buying my Beggar for Beggar Gardens because I need it right away, or I'm never going to get it.
Yeah.
And at that point, I need to decide: am I going for Beggar Gardens or am I going for whatever the other alternative is on the board? So sometimes you do need to make the decision right away, but in a case like this, the only decision you have to make really right away is like, do I want the cargo ship or not? And yeah, what you want to do later plays into that a little bit, but it's not the biggest difference. Should we move on to the next one?
In this case, yeah, I definitely agree with you, and yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this kingdom. So yeah, if you disagree with anything or you want to talk about any of these, feel free to comment on any of them. But we're gonna have one towards the end of the episode that we'll go in a little more depth on.
Okay.
All right, what we
So
got here?
I'm going to read this one. So this time we've got Stonemason, Theodem, Model, Shepherd, Silk Road, Archive, Den of Sin, Grave Robber, Swashbuckler, Wild Hunt, the Project Cathedral, and the event Scouting Party.
All right.
Ooh.
So when I first look at this board, I see a
Yeah.
couple things that jump out at me. Thing number one is Cathedral is an extremely strong thing.
Okay. That's not the first
thing
thing that
number-
jumps out at me. But okay.
Thing number
go ahead.
two is there's no village.
That's
Those
the
are the
first
two
thing that
things
jumps
that,
out at me.
that jump out. Well, they jumped out at me together. I just said them in that order.
Okay. That's
but in
fair
any
enough.
case, I think both of those things matter a lot. Since there's no village,
Yeah.
I'm looking very strongly towards the non-terminals. So that's Archive, Den of Sin, and Shepherd. Those are the non-terminals. They all draw cards, which is great. It means I can potentially draw a lot of cards, but I have to pick one terminal per turn, and that
I think
potentially limits my payload by quite a lot.
Yeah, I think those cards play pretty well together too.
Well,
At least
yes, I
Den
think
and
Shepherd has. I think Shepherd has synergy with the fact that you're drawing cards at the start of your turn. That's what
Yeah.
Shepherd really wants, is some
Right.
other way to line up Shepherd with green cards, and then Shepherd takes you the rest of the way
And
there. Yeah.
Archive can maybe do that, although it's a little more hit and miss. But yeah, the Den and the Shepherd, I think, work well together because you want to have, for Shepherd, you want to have the ability to get started without just playing your Shepherd and discarding one green card. If you can start with a couple, you can get rolling, and you need the start of turn draw helps you with that. So I think Den goes really well in that.
I agree. I think Archive is best in decks that have very little or no thinning resources. And Cathedral's here, so that's some of the strongest thinning in the game. So I don't think Archive is going to be as strong as Den of Sin here.
That's interesting to me. I'm thinking about skipping Cathedral here. Despite it being
I haven't
strong,
really thought about it.
Despite it being so strong, I want to be doing big Shepherd things, and so I'm thinking about skipping Cathedral. And I mean, the problem is you do want to trash the coppers, but there's only 6 of them. I don't know.
Yeah, so I haven't thought this all the way through yet. So the one terminal per turn really determines how much payload you're realistically going to have.
Yeah.
So if I choose Wild Hunt, well, that's not spectacular.
But I can
Swashbuckler
I
isn't
can gain 2
spectacular.
points with my Wild Hunt.
Woo! I could choose Grave Robber, but that's that doesn't seem great. So I'm looking at what remodel gold into province or maybe stonemason to gain a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also see Fatum here, and Fatum actually seems like it could be pretty good because it gives you some extra gains. It's not really a terrible thing to trash to your cathedral, and you can maybe do something there.
Yeah,
Uh,
you could
and
maybe.
also like there's Silk Road too, so like you can go for something that isn't provinces and maybe make that work. The payload is a little bit lackluster to me, so that makes me skeptical of how much I want to invest in draw. On the
Yeah,
other hand, with the ability to score so many points here that aren't provinces, if I feel like I'm going to have to invest in some draw
yeah,
because I'm going to need some way to end the game,
yep.
regardless of which strategy I choose. Uh, Given that, and the fact that it could be a long game, Cathedral potentially is a liability, but it's also Cathedral, and I have a really hard time seeing myself not opening with it.
I think I don't want to. I think I don't want it here. I I've thought about it a little more, and I think it doesn't work so well with Shepherd. It doesn't work so well, and Shepherd's like what I want to be doing here. And I think the game is going to go really long. I only have 6 coppers that I really want to trash. I think I want to play with Stonemason as my terminal for a lot of the game, which is really weird. I might overpay for some 5s, mostly to have Stonemason food at some point. And that's actually the biggest thing that's making me think maybe on Cathedral is like I can Stonemason overpay a few times and have like extra Stonemasons lying around that I can Cathedral pretty happily. Um, I kind of thinking about, and maybe this is just because I have I'm far too overfond of Silk Road, but I'm kind of thinking about like my payload being I'm going to Stonemason some 5s into Silk Roads, and after I have enough Shepherds, or get a Silk Road and a Shepherd or something, and that being a big part of my payload, um, or at least some part of my payload at the end. I think Scouting Party looks pretty good for the Shepherd kind of thing too. Helps you set up a little bit, maybe.
I
Mm,
agree with a lot of what you're saying. In particular, I like Scouting Party.
yeah.
Also, I think the reason Stonemason seems like a good terminal here is because it's just naturally going to show up in your deck
Well,
because you
also,
want to be overpaying for lots of good
right.
stuff, right?
Yeah, and I want to like, I think it can trash a few coppers for me, and that will be sufficient. And I don't need the cathedral, is what I think.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I think the main difference here is a lot of the stuff you're saying
Yeah,
um, makes me lean harder towards Cathedral. I think Den of Sin is going to give you a lot more options
yeah.
for things that be able to find something you can trash. I think there's no shortage of gains. There's going to be a lot of potentially extra stonemasons you have that you can't play that you're happy
Hmm.
to get rid of, and you don't want to stonemason those for sure.
Well,
I think
you could stonemason for 2 coppers if you're really desperate to have stuff to trash your
yeah,
cathedral.
but that feels really bad, right?
I mean, if you're really desperate to have stuff to trash your cathedral, I don't know. If you have like no garbage left, then it probably feels fine.
I guess. I just think that I think between stonemason and fade, I'm not going to be short on things to trash.
See, I'm
I'm
not
going to
high
have
on.
plenty of
I think
gains.
I'm not. I think I'm not high on Fiatum here. Although, I guess I got to figure out. I am going to need some amount of money, and
Yeah,
I
I think
think I'm
fadeum's
probably
the
just
best
gonna.
way to get it.
I think I'm probably just going to buy like a few silvers, and that'll be fine. I don't need that many. I don't want a ton here.
Yeah, I definitely like the build, and then the final reason I like the build where you go for cathedral
Yeah.
is, I mean, obviously you get the option of just like buying a fadeum and trashing the thing,
Right.
and that can potentially be more efficient, whatever efficient means. But if you're going to use shepherd as your source of draw,
Yeah.
uh, that deck
I
really wants those coppers out. It really, really wants those coppers
yeah,
out.
it does.
And I think I just don't think Stonemason's going to get there fast enough. I think Cathedral is so good because it gives you that tempo. It gets you trashing so fast and so reliable. It just sets you so far ahead. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I
Okay.
really do. I'm very sure of Cathedral after talking about it.
Okay. I still think I'm off it here, but easily see being wrong.
I think it's going to be tricky, and I think if you screw it up, you're going to have a bad time. But I definitely think I want it, and I want to open with it.
Okay.
Sweet.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we have like a little bit of disagreement
Disagreement?
here. That we're not just agreeing on everything. It makes me feel good.
Okay.
You gonna press the button for me, bro?
I am going to press the button to get out of the old kingdom, and then I'm going to press the button to get into the new one.
Sick. All right, so this kingdom we have Beggar, Coin of the Realm, Lighthouse, Amulet, Duplicate, Monument, Mountain Village, Treasure Map, Border Village, Horde. We have the Landmark Wall, and this game has Platinum and Colony. So what's going on, Wandering Winder?
So what's going on is Beggar Wall is a mega comp. No, what's
It's
going on
so
is
good.
there's no draw. That's the first thing that jumps out to me here.
Hey, Beggar's Draw, and so is Duplicate with certain cards.
Okay, so there's no real draw here.
So there's no draw. Yeah.
And there's Wall. So I'm pretty sure I want to, and there's Colony, right? So
Yeah,
I
all
want
these
to
point pretty strongly towards thinning my deck.
thin down a lot. I'm probably opening double Amulet so I can thin down aggressively. And then I'm going to want to supercharge from my close to nothing that I'm going to have. So I'm thinking about Treasure Map after I've thinned. And then like buy a couple Platinum, maybe Monument, and buy Colonies.
Yeah, I'm with you on pretty much all of that. Along with the fact that there's no draw, is that there's no plus buy. There's Gainy Bits, and there's Monument for extra payload, but Colony seems to dwarf all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking to get 5 colonies. That seems like the way I'm going to win this game. I'm not positive about Treasure Map. I could see, like... well, if I'm going to go for Treasure Maps, I don't want to do, like, some fancy thing with Duplicate. I don't really see time for putting a Duplicate in my deck.
I don't even know what I want to duplicate here. What do I want to duplicate?
A Treasure Map! Raw! Yeah, I don't think it's good.
Seems worse than just having bought the Treasure Map, but sure.
Right. But I'm just saying, I don't want to do that, because I think it's worse. I agree with you. I like the double Amulet opening. I like thinning down, gaining, enough silvers to have good turns. I like the idea of a Monument in my deck.
Yeah.
But it kind of depends on what kind of terminal space. And it also depends on if I hit any $2 hands, because I'll probably be getting a Coin of the Realm with that.
Okay. I was thinking I was going to get probably a Lighthouse and maybe not be gaining silvers. Maybe one. Not very many.
I could see gaining like 2 or 3, but really I just want to make sure I get enough money to hit $11 as soon as possible, right? And if I need to gain a couple extra silvers to do it, that's definitely a higher priority to me, because I want to get 5 colonies.
Sure.
That's how I see myself winning.
Sure. I think the fastest way to get to that money is to get treasure maps, and I don't think I need more than 1 silver to do that. So
I could see treasure map being it, but again, that's a decision I don't have to make right now.
And I'm probably not just saying, oh, 4 golds, that's enough to buy colony. I'm going to buy I'm probably going to get a platinum, 1 platinum.
Yeah, I could see one. I don't think 4 golds by itself is enough.
I mean, I might also buy the colony first, but you're going to need to get a platinum at some point, so I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. All that sounds reasonable. I don't think there's very much disagreement on this.
I don't think there's many different options here. I think this one's kind of a lot more clear than the other ones.
Yeah, I don't like Horde. I don't like really any of the stuff we didn't mention. Yeah,
I'd think about Horde if Wall weren't a thing, maybe, but I think the benefit of Horde is going to be pretty marginal, and
it's a colony game. I'm not warm on it. All right, next up.
Okay, Adam, what's going on here?
Well, there's some cards. I guess I'll read them. We've got Royal Blacksmith, Castles, Farmer's Market, Improve, Night Watchman, Treasure Map, Cartographer, Seer, Witch, Grand Market, and Donate. Yeah.
So the first thing that jumps out to me here is Donate.
Donate, yeah. That's probably the most powerful thing in all Dominion.
I've
I realize that doesn't
I,
mean anything, but
I think that can actually be argued at this point. But regardless, it's extremely powerful, and
yeah.
yeah.
So there's also no village.
Right. That's another important thing. But there's a lot of non-terminals, and
Yeah, there's a good amount of them here, and they're pretty good. Grand Market, and then Seer and Cartographer.
yeah, I'm probably never buying a cartographer here, but that's because I'm probably getting a seer every time over it. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. It's hard for
So
maybe I would, but who knows?
what I'm thinking here is I would need to think and work out a donate line.
Well, that's usually what happens when you see donate, right?
And what am I trying to go for in my donate line? And my thinking is 2 treasure maps with the ability to collide them super fast.
So what are you thinking? Like open treasure map, improve, donate turn 3?
I mean that's a way to do that. That seems pretty good on a 4-3.
Yeah. Actually, 5-2 doesn't seem that great here because you can't do that. Basically, I would consider donating like on
Turn 1.
on turn 1
If I
with
have
a 5-2. I'd
5-2
feel good about it. Yeah,
on 2-5, I would
I
cry.
would be very sad. Yeah, seems really bad here.
I think a witch might come into play at some point.
Yeah, I definitely think you don't just ignore witch because of donate,
But
because I'm looking at draw resources here,
yeah,
and since there's no village, you're very limited. And Seer seems like the workhorse here,
except I
but
don't
it
know that
doesn't
I'm ever
draw
gonna have.
curses.
I also don't know that I'm ever going to have like 3s or 4s in my deck for Seer to really draw.
Yeah, I think Seer in general is overrated, but here it certainly doesn't seem good
Here
because the cards that I want are Grand Market and basically gold, right?
Grand Market, 1 witch, and more Grand Markets. I think I'm gonna get the 4 golds, and I don't know that I want that many more after the treasure maps because I want to play
Right.
all
That
my
I
Grand
agree.
Markets as much as possible.
I agree.
So I'm thinking, yeah, probably the line on a 4-3 or a 3-4 is treasure map improve, donate turn 3, get my treasure maps off on turn 4, on turn 5.
Because you definitely found that improve on turn 3, right?
Oh, uh,
So you might have to wait till turn 5, but I still think you want to do it.
yeah. But anyway, the turn after I get my golds, I'm gonna buy a Grand Market. I'm gonna pay off all the debt and buy a Grand Market. And then I'll probably buy more Grand Markets.
Like 2 Grand Markets, and then I think it's funny that witch.
Maybe get a witch. And no, I was gonna say, and then maybe get a witch after I've gotten enough Grand Markets. But
yeah, witch isn't like a really good card for your deck.
no,
And the curses hurt less than normal, but I still think you need to be constantly thinking about it. Like if you
Yeah.
have 5, it would be hard for me to justify getting a witch over a Grand Market. But like
right.
I think of it in terms of like an economic attack. Like after a certain number of plays of witch, I'm forcing my opponent to donate to deal with those curses.
Also, like fairly quickly, I was going to say something which I now can't remember. Fairly quickly after the Grand Markets are going, or or you might be hitting 5 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The points are going to matter, and like donate is it's expensive to redonate.
Oh, right. The curses are worth points. Yeah.
And that's the only trashing, and it's not good. Well, it's the only trashing you can deal with the curses anyway. And it's not donate is not efficient at dealing with curses until it's dealing with a ton of them.
For sure.
At which point they've been in your opponent's deck for a while, whatever. The other thing which I wouldn't decide at the start, this is because you don't have to, is are you going for castles or are you going for provinces? And I think mostly,
I was going to bring up farmers market, and obviously, I mean, I don't think you do that, but yeah.
I don't think you do farmers market because of the terminal space problem. Otherwise, maybe with Seer you could do something there, but castles versus province, I think that's a thing you don't decide early on, and mostly it's a question of the optionality of having both there means that you need to be building sufficiently largely.
Right. You don't want to start on the provinces and get your 5 or 6 provinces and be like, oh, I've got my 5 or 6 provinces. I've got all the time in the world to get provinces 7 and 8 because the other guy can just drain the castles and you're totally screwed.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
you have to build a lot.
Yeah. Having said, like, when you start greening, your deck is going to start breaking down a little bit because you're going to have more stock cards. You're not going to be drawing your deck anymore, which is fine.
Yeah, for
your
sure.
deck's still going to be great, but it's not like
Now that we've had this conversation,
Yeah.
I really have a hard time seeing myself buying any seers over cartographers, which is hilarious.
No, yeah, maybe you're probably right though.
Yeah.
You're probably
Look
although
at that.
I'm
We did it,
probably
guys.
not really buying. I could see maybe getting a cartographer kind of late if I hit 5 and I don't want another witch. Maybe.
Yeah. I could
Okay,
see
great.
that too. Sure. Good times.
Next board.
Yeah. Moving on.
So
All right, what do we got here?
Kingdom, we've got City Quarter, Duchess, Pixie, which means that we do have the heirloom goat,
Ooh, Jasper.
Transmogrify, Contraband, Inn, Mint, Sculptor, Werewolf, and Wild Hunt, with the Landmark Arena, the Event Triumph, and Colony and Platinum.
All right. So, you can do all the things here.
Mm-hmm.
You can trash. You can potentially attack your opponent. There are villages. There's draw. There's actually some very strong draw here.
Mm-hmm.
But the extra payload that you're looking for, what are you looking for your turns to do? Contraband is plus buy, and it's the only plus buy, but that feels pretty bad.
Forest's Gift, maybe, but that's not reliable.
Great, yeah, I'm not going to count on that. But there are other things you can do. You can play a lot of Wild Hunts. That's a form of payload.
Yep.
You can have Mint and Sculptor for extra gains, and then maybe go for a whole bunch of Triumph stuff. You got Transmogrify to support that too, I guess. But yeah, the payload here seems like the awkward thing.
You've got Duchess, which helps the Triumph plan because you can buy a duchy, gain a Duchess, and that's an extra
That's
gain.
so good. Yeah. Because you've definitely got plus. I guess what you could do is you can go for like Contraband, and they can't ban Triumph. But
right,
man, Colony has so many points.
Right. It's kind of funny if you build up really big and then go for Contrabands and be like, well, I can't ban Triumph. They can start like naming Copper and Cursed.
All the cheap stuff, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing,
feels pretty bad.
is that estates, like Triumph can put pressure on the estates, and Wild Hunt can also put pressure on the estates.
Oh, yeah. With Wild, I mean, I was thinking about the deck I want to build that isn't the Triumph-based deck, and I think that deck wants some Wild Hunts in it, because I want to draw cards. And, so any hope I had of like, oh, I'm going to mint Contrabands, I'm going to gain a lot of cards, and then it doesn't matter what they name, because I'm just going to be buying Triumphs, I'm going to get all these gains, and like, yeah, I'm trying to see how that deck actually scores more points than, I don't know, a Colony every turn.
With some Wild Hunt points, and
I'm
there's
just not seeing it.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably getting a lot of Pixies, though. Especially early on. I might get a Transmogrify. I might not, though.
Yeah, so like, how do you open here? Thinning is a big priority, and you have Goat. I think the fact that you have Goat,
all my thinning.
Right. I really think the reason I would get Transmogrify is because I didn't have Goat, right? If Goat wasn't around, I would probably open Transmogrify.
Yeah, I'm probably not. I'm probably not getting the Transmogrify. I guess, let's see, if I have 5-2 and the Goat is in the 2, do I ever think about going like Mint Pixie?
I would not do that. I would get Mint Duchess before I get Mint Pixie. I still wouldn't do that.
It kind of seems hot to me. It also kind of seems like hot garbage to me.
There we go. That's the direction I was going.
Now, if
I
I have
mean,
5/2, I'm
it's
probably opening Sculptor Pixie. If the goat is in the 2,
I,
the goat is in the 5.
I
I'm
just want to
trashing.
I just want to point out we've concocted a very unlikely scenario that has absolutely everything for a mint opening going for it, and it goes beyond just the fact that you get to trash an estate.
There's
You
the
have a
one
Duchess to
biggest
open with.
thing. There's the one biggest thing going for the mint opening that isn't here though, and that's Fool's
What's
Gold.
that? Well, yeah, Fool's Gold or Page, right? I mean, those are the two big ones.
I'm not even sure that
And
Page is. I don't know. Maybe
it's the second best one, I think. It depends.
There was something that somebody pointed out the other day that I thought, oh, that was a good one, but I can't remember what it is now. There's Alms.
Oh yeah, Alms is great. I mean, it wouldn't be great on this kingdom, but it might be great in the abstract. But in any case, all that stuff is going for mint opening, and I still don't think it's all that great here. I think you're better served by opening with maybe a draw card, letting Jasper do a little bit of work for you, and then like drawing a bunch of coppers later on and getting a later mint when maybe you have a silver or another higher value treasure.
Maybe I'm probably
Maybe get a
just
sculptor.
not worried about getting a mint off because my goat's going to clean stuff up eventually. And
Jasper's hungry, man.
I think I mostly want to get a lot of pixies and a little bit of money, like 1 silver and then a bunch of pixies or something, and get a sculptor,
So-
get city quarters, and
So why are you so warm on getting a bunch of pixies?
'cause they're really good. They're really good for city quarter, and I think I'm in love with the idea of triumph. Okay, so I think it's probably not very good if, depending on what your opponent does. But if you let me have 8 pixies or something, I'm probably am going to be able to hit Forest Spoon, right? A couple of times.
Okay.
And I also think in the meantime, they're really going to help my city quarters, which I really want city quarter here as my village. Maybe you can get away with just getting like inns and wild hunts, but I want to be doing city quarter stuff.
So I think there's a difference here then. I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what it is. I'm not as in love with Triumph as you are, for sure. I do think I want like some city quarter in my deck, but
Yeah.
I would say the bread and butter of my draw is going to be in and probably wild hunt. I'm probably not going to be getting too
Let
many
me be
werewolves.
clear. I want wild hunt also in my city quarter deck.
For sure, but I'm saying like the bread and butter of it is
Yeah.
I think that deck greens a lot better, which I think matters here, and I think that deck can mostly because it can tolerate having a few more treasures. So like instead of all those pixies, I'm getting silvers and I'm getting more of these fivers, and I'm seeing you struggling to pay off your debt and also draw cards.
But I think I can hit like with one. So I want to get 1 silver. But with 1 silver, and then I'm going to trash my estates really fast, I can hit 5 every turn very quickly.
That's great, but I can hit like 10 every turn.
Okay.
I want a few more silvers, and I want a few more inns, and I guess instead of maybe 1 or 2 city quarters, I think that deck would build up a little faster. So I think there is a slight difference in the way we would approach this.
Okay.
In terms of opening,
Also,
I'm actually not positive what I would open here.
I think I'm going to be better at getting 2 arena points than you are.
Woo!
Which doesn't matter for a lot, but, if the game ends up being close, if I have an 8-4 arena split, that could be important.
Could be. That is not impossible. I think the opening is actually a little bit interesting. Do I open double silver and let Jasper trash an estate? We've talked about 5-2 a decent amount, but like
we've
do you
talked
get a
about the
transmog
5-2 where the goat is in the 2, which, let's be clear, is very unlikely.
Yeah, and the 5-2 without that sitch is quite bad because you can't trash an estate.
Well, I mean, I would open the same thing anyway because I want to open Silver Pixie basically regardless.
If I couldn't trash an estate with Jasper, if I had goat and 4 coppers,
Yeah.
I would consider transmogrify in that point. Trashing a copper.
I think that's reasonable. I wouldn't do it, but I
Yeah.
think it's reasonable. I would definitely trash the copper. I think I would just buy a silver and get a pixie in my other hand. So I assume
Yeah,
you'd
it
get a
feels
pixie.
pretty bad.
I assume you'd get a pixie on your 2 also.
If I got transmogrify, I'd probably get Duchess with it.
Really?
And I would feel very bad, but I feel like it's
Why
definitely
Duchess?
important to have some money.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like it, but I feel like that's probably what I would end up doing.
Huh.
And then my transmogrify would show up as card 12. So that's how that works. I think I would probably open double silver.
Also, when I say
3-4.
I'm in love with Triumph, I'm probably mostly planning on getting colonies. Let's be real. But
Sure.
I don't need a lot of money because I just need 11 to hit colony once. And I think if you let me get enough pixies, I might be able to backdoor plan for some triumphs on turns that my pixies show up well.
I mean, that's not impossible. I think this is a good example of a game that Colony makes less interesting.
I don't know. I think Triumph would be very good if Colony weren't here.
Yeah, and I think that's more interesting. Also, I think there's, that opposition between Wild
know.
Hunt and Triumph that's pretty interesting. I don't know.
I think that's interesting for sure. I could also see, I guess the werewolf. I don't know. It's hard for me to ever see taking werewolf over Wild Hunt. Like the hexes could be really good, but there's only a couple of them that are probably going to be real good, and it's just so hard to rely on them. I would love to see somebody just like mint to 1 million contrabands here and go crazy.
If this was the kingdom that we were actually doing to the end of the episode, like
at least once.
I want to see like how good it is. Like if you just go whole hog into it. If the draw was like,
draw's great.
but if the draw synergized with that more, if I didn't have to have 8 contrabands in my deck to make that deck work and then also draw that a lot and a bunch of gainers, like I would feel a lot better about it. I'm very skeptical of it, but it would not surprise me if that deck was capable of winning.
I'm just
even with
thinking,
colonies.
How many contrabands? So they name Copper, Curse, Duchess.
I don't think it matters. I honestly don't think it matters. I think the strat is you go for like a bunch of gains with like Sculptor and Mint and Transmog.
You need enough money to be able to buy a Triumph with every one of your things, and or if the estates are low enough, you need to be able to buy other stuff before you Triumph. Like if I'm playing 7 contrabands and they can name Curse,
right. Estates
Copper,
can die.
Duchess.
That's why I didn't like this deck.
Yeah.
Rip. Dang it. That's why the deck doesn't work. I forgot, and we already talked about that.
All right. So we done with this one?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. So here we have Haven, Squire, Fool, Gear, Guide, Hermit, Conspirator, Messenger, Crypt, Soothsayer, and we have the landmark Basilica and the project Citygate. And then we have Fool, we've got Lucky Coin as an heirloom here.
Yeah.
So what you thinking, Lincoln?
I'm thinking there's not really like there's kind of draw here, but like there's Squire Gear isn't
good.
Really draw. There's Crypt,
Squire Gear isn't draw.
That's what I said. It's not really draw. There's Crypt.
It just isn't.
Yeah. It really it isn't draw. There.
Yes.
Happy?
Okay. Thanks.
Crypt
is draw.
There's Madman, which is draw.
Madman's probably it's pretty good,
but isn't going to be around forever. There's Squire with a way to trash it and an attack to take.
That's not draw.
No, I'm just saying things I'm seeing on the board.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay. There's Messenger for shenanigans. There's Lucky Coin. So, there's. I think
This one's
I want to play
crunchy.
something fairly money heavy, because the thinning is only Hermit, right?
Ooh, yeah, you can't get the coppers out. I mean, there's Crypt, but that's
Well,
really
yeah,
the only
that's
way you
kind of.
can get coppers out.
And it's going to be, well, I guess you could like try to Madman for a big crypt turn or something.
Yeah,
I don't quite believe in it. I think so. I'm going to want Hermit. I'm probably going to take Madman at some point. Probably the turn I do that, I'm going to want to like buy City Gate, because why not?
sure.
And I'm not going to open City Gate because I'm going to be like, well, at some point later, I'm going to want to take a Madman, and then it'll be free. So I don't really like Fool, because I just don't think the Fool's very good in general, and also on this board. I think Soothsayer seems pretty good. I mean, Hermit is a good way to deal with those curses, but I don't know. With Lucky Coin, I think I'm going to want to play something that's based around Hermit, Gear, and Soothsayer.
Yeah,
Like
so
one Hermit in my deck at any time, a couple of Gears, and a Soothsayer.
I'm trying to. The deck you speak of is strong, right? It has some strong money centered enablers: Gear, Hermit, Soothsayer, and Lucky Coin. All those are great for money. So I'm trying to think of alternatives, because there are ways to draw cards here. There's additional payload options. There's plus buy. There's villages, conspirators, fantastic.
If you can get it going reliably enough.
Right. So I'm trying to think of what this deck actually looks like. And I mean, I think you really need to keep your coppers in like crypts, or else you're going to have a bad time, because the draw is so tight and wonky and weird.
Yeah.
So then, like, I think about how I'm going to get there, how long it's going to take to get there, what the deck looks like when I get there.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, I'm going to need a lot of. I need to jump through some pretty significant hoops in order to temporarily thin coppers from my deck.
Yeah.
And then, like, if this is going to actually work at all, I'm going to need to play a pretty decent honking number of conspirators, which means I'm going to have to get those conspirators, which seems difficult. So then, like, I'm also looking for a way to slow my opponent down, and the only thing I see is Soothsayer, and that's that's just not doing it for me. It's just not doing it for me. And then I'm also looking for a way to catch up, and I don't see that either.
Yeah. I think the big thing here for me that's really pushing me in this money-ish kind of direction is the Lucky Coin. Just like giving me a bunch of extra free silvers speeds me up in being able to buy stuff.
Lucky Coin is great.
It's great. And if I'm trying to activate a bunch of conspirators per turn, the extra silvers from Lucky Coin don't feed into that much. They feed into the money thing a lot better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also think that without Lucky Coin, I would still go for
I think without Lucky
the
Coin,
money-based thing you're talking about.
Very close.
I don't think it would be close. I think Gear, Soothsayer with Hermit, I think I would still go for that.
I think I'd be getting like a bunch of Gears and a bunch of Squires and a Hermit, or a few Hermits, and going for a lot of Conspirators.
Oh, yeah, I would 1 Hermit, 0 Squires, some number of Gears. I don't know, like 3. I don't know. We'll see when we get there, but
what do we want to open?
Hermit for sure.
Yep.
Do I want to give myself the chance to hit 5 and get a Soothsayer early? Oh, what are my other options there? I could open Hermit Squire. That seems bad. I don't want to trash a Squire.
I'm really thinking about opening Hermit Squire for the Basilica point.
Oh, I don't think I don't like it.
It
even
should probably be a Hermit Gear, I think.
I think it's tough. I really want to give myself the chance to high roll. So I'm leaning Hermit Silver, but Hermit Gear is definitely reasonable.
Hermit Gear does give you the chance to high roll. I don't understand.
I wonder, do you have a higher chance of hitting 5?
I'm not sure. You probably have a higher chance of hitting 5 getting the silver than the gear, but
Oh, but you might not get to play your hermit and hit 5.
I don't think it's a huge difference. Like, if the lucky coin
Yeah, I lean towards the
already
silver.
giving you
Yeah.
the silver, I
Oh,
don't. I lean towards the gear.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot. You are getting a silver with the fool. Okay, fine. I'll take the gear in that case. I like the gear now because I'm also getting the silver. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Great.
All right. So this next one is going to be the last one we do,
Yes,
and for
it's
that
the
reason,
final kingdom.
yeah. And so for that reason, we're going to read it twice, and then we invite you. We're going to be, doing some more in-depth analysis of this one. So we invite you to give your opinions more than the other ones, I suppose. Yeah.
It's more equal.
So, that's right. So in this kingdom, we have. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that we've got no landscapes, but we
Rip.
do have Beggar, Coin of the Realm, Encampment, which underneath it has plunders because it's a split pile, Scrying Pool, Noble Brigand, Trader, Mandarin, Scholar, Hunting Grounds, and Forge.
So
Once
the
more
first
for
thing
our
that jumps out to me.
audio-only
Sorry.
listeners, because we are doing this one twice, Adam.
Yeah, sorry.
Like someone just said, if you would have been listening,
I don't listen to myself, and none of you should either.
we've got Forge, Hunting Grounds, Scholar, Mandarin, Trader, Noble Brigand, Scrying Pool, Encampment, Coin of the Realm, and Beggar. Adam, what we got? What you doing?
I see Beggar Trader, and that's really all I want with my life.
Oh my goodness, I hadn't thought about that. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So I see some pretty powerful stuff. I see Scrying Pool. That's a
Wait,
really
you
good
weren't being
card.
serious. I really want it. I don't think it's good. I really want it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I see Scrying Pool, which is a really strong card by itself. However, the only trashing looks like it's Forge. There's Trader.
Trader, which can't trash your estates to make your deck thinner. But it can trash
So
your combers to make your deck thinner.
if I want an action dense deck, though, I'm just trying to think about the actions that I actually want to be drawing with Scrying Pool. And since given the fact that one of my villages is Coin of the Realm and the other one is Encampment, which also needs treasures to actually stay in your deck, it's hard for me to envision having a ton of actions to draw. And so I'm a little less warm on Scrying Pool than I might otherwise be. I'm also looking for additional payload here beyond a province per turn, and what I'm seeing is playing
Forge.
plunders along with my province per turn.
There's also Forge, maybe.
I guess I can forge things into provinces, but what does that look like? What cards am I going to have in my deck already that I can forge into province?
You have a Beggar and a Trader.
That's true. 2 Beggars and a Trader, you can forge those into a province, and that's why you go for Beggar-Trader combo.
If you have 2 Beggars and a Trader, you can play one of the Beggars to get 3 silvers, and then forge 2 of the silvers with the other
Wait a second. You still need 2 Beggars and a Trader to make that work.
Yeah, but then with 3 Beggars,
you get to keep one of the Beggars, so
it's slightly more efficient over time.
You get to keep one of the Beggars, and that's the big difference.
The next turn, if you have 3 Beggars, right, you can do that a couple times. You only have to play the Beggar twice, and then you can forge.
Yeah, and every third turn,
your 6 silver.
You don't have to play a Beggar.
That's right.
Yeah, it's way better that way. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry I questioned you.
It's slightly more efficient, which is the best kind of more efficient. I don't know. That's not true, probably.
For sure. So anyway, other than the fact that plunder is what I see as the real heavy lifter here in terms of additional payload, I'm also looking for ways to slow an opponent down who plays something more money focused, and I see Noble Brigand and then the attack on Scrying Pool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's non-trivial here. I mean, Scrying Pool's really good, but what if I played some money focused thing with Hunting Grounds and Coin of the Realm and maybe a trader, and then just like poached some plunders when I thought I had the
Are
chance.
you getting a forge in that deck?
Probably not. You know what? Actually,
I want to
maybe,
get I
because
want to get
Hunting
a
Grounds and
forge
Coin.
and be thin in whatever deck I'm playing.
Hmm.
If are so
Yeah,
your money
okay.
deck, are you getting a trader in your money deck?
I'd probably open Trader Silver
Okay.
in that deck, yeah. You know what? You know what? Wandering
Yeah.
Render.
What?
You know what?
What?
Let's say I do that, okay? And let's say I get some coins and some hunting grounds. I'm drawing a lot, and I
Yeah.
decide I want to forge, and I thin
Yeah.
all those coppers. You know what a great way to add quick payload to that deck is? I've already got the trader.
Got a beggar?
Just get a beggar and beggar trader.
Uh-huh. No?
Seems pretty bad. Seems pretty bad.
I think I want to go for scrying pools here. I just
I
think
still might. I think it's close.
the game is gonna go long enough, and the plunders provide me with enough extra payload, and I want to forge that I'm pretty happy getting the scrying pools, using that to help me keep my encampments around a little bit because it's going to help me draw. I'm going to need a ton of them, which is fine because I think this game's going to be kind of slow. I guess if you're going money-ish, you need it to be fast. And I really think you need the forge. But if you can get the hunting ground stuff up fast enough and get the forge that way, I think that's the way to try to fight it.
Okay, so I agree with the part about the forge. I think you had convinced me when you talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
I think the forge is good in the non-scrying pool deck here.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you say the game is going to be slow. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Right.
I think you can make a pretty
More about
fast
that.
game here. I also think that scrying pool just isn't really a fantastic card in that deck. I mean, it doesn't draw that many cards, but also it's pretty tough to get because there's no plus buy.
That's true. I am
Yeah,
kind of thinking about
I'm
Noble Brigand, though, honestly.
I think Noble Bring could potentially matter, regardless, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're
You know, I think you're convincing me. I want to I still don't think I want Trader though. Um
hmm. I so at this point, my mind is I don't want Scrying Pool.
yeah. I think I want
Now, would I consider an
silver because I want to try to
open-ism
hit
trader?
hunting grounds ASAP. And so I want to get like
Okay.
3 silvers and then start just buying like coins of the realm. Get a hunting grounds ASAP so I can get a forge ASAP, and then probably try to pick up a bunch of encampments. I might try to forge into the encampments off of my estate, but I'm not sure that I can
Seems
wait that long.
ambitious. Yeah. So I guess the main question here is: do you open double silver or do you open trader silver?
Well, I still think that
I mean,
the opening potion for scrying pools is. I think I'm off it, but I think I'm not convinced of that, and it's worth testing.
I think it's worth testing. I don't think it's so much worse that you'll never win with that deck.
No,
But I don't think I don't think I want it.
I really don't like the trader. I don't think because I just. What do I want the silver
Man,
for?
I do like it.
I want the silvers for getting to 6 ASAP here, and
Right, you want him earlier. So what's the
does
math? If
adding
you
a
open double
trader
silver,
speed me to the double silver gives you a 42% chance of hitting 6 on turn 3 or 4.
six or seven, right?
Yes,
That
6
includes
6
seven.
or
And
better.
seven's
Yes.
even better.
Sure, I would take a forge if I got to a
42.
40 roughly. That's rounded.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's much higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's pretty
Given that, I'm less warm on the trader. In my mind, it was less than 20, but I guess that's just not the
It's
case.
about 20% on any given turn from a random deck with 2 silvers in your starting
Huh.
cards.
All right. Well, you know what? Math convinced me that I'm off the trader opening. Yep. I think that's enough.
Okay.
I think that's enough. I'm not saying that I wouldn't
think-
ever get a trader,
So the
but
thing to me
I don't want to
is-
open with it now.
Is let's say we open trader, right? And best case, the trader collides with an estate, right? You're not opening trader to thin a copper. You're opening trader to pow an estate, right?
Right.
Right. So then you've got a trader and 2 silvers in your deck, and one fewer estate. Whereas if I opened with the silver instead, then I've got 2 silvers in my deck, and I have an estate instead of a trader. It doesn't really help me hit 6 any better, and I've given up the chance of hitting 6 on, well, not totally given it up, but much lowered my chance of hitting it on turn 3 and 4.
Wait, it doesn't help you hit 6 any better? You lost me on that part.
Right, so after I've played my trader, which trashed, I guess it depends. No, it probably does a little bit better. I was thinking, because you have 2 silvers, right? And I was thinking, well, you're going to buy a silver anyway, but you're also buying something when you play the trader, so I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's either a coin or an encampment, likely.
I mean, coin's not going to really help you hit 6 very well.
Yeah, I guess I'd only get coin if I had already hit 6 or 7. Okay, never mind. It seems like encampment there, because I'm very.
I mean, it could be another silver, I guess.
I would. I'd agonize and probably end up with an encampment.
Coin might help you hit 6, but it's going to be like pretty close to no effect, I think. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I would probably not start getting coins until I had a hunting grounds in the deck.
I think if I was very likely to be buying a hunting grounds on the same shuffle, then I might, like, if it's turn 5.
Yeah, if I knew it was
turn
coming.
5 and just like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get hunting grounds on turn 6, then
if I'm looking at like 2 estates or something, yeah.
Or just even not. If I just have 4 coppers in an estate, like.
Well, I don't know if I'm that YOLO, but sure.
Well, I'm also kind of thinking, I mean, maybe it depends a little bit on where my opponent is, because I'm kind of thinking, if I don't hit 6 next turn, what am I doing?
Okay, that's fair.
So, I don't know.
All right, that's a good point. Yeah, so what do you think, dear listener? Do you think Scrying Pool's good here? What would you open with, and how would you follow it up? What are your priorities? What's the deck that you actually want to play here? How good is Beggar Trader? We want to hear about it.
Yeah. Also, there's that last question. It might have sounded like one question, but it's actually 2 questions. And those questions are, how good is Beggar Trader if you're trying to win the game? And the other part of the question is, how good is Beggar Trader in your heart? Also, is Mandarin,
I want to know the answer to both.
Is Mandarin relevant in this game?
Can't you like play your coins every turn with Mandarin or some shenanigans? No, you can't play coins more often with Mandarin.
That's not what I was thinking about, because I might try to play with very few or maybe even no coins, depending on how many encampments I can get. And if I can get a lot of encampments, Mandarin might let me top deck a gold or plunder. I mean, first of all, when I buy it, when I could play with
I feel like I only need like 2 coins in my deck, and I don't need encampments. But I don't know. We'll see when I get there. I don't have to decide.
I want encampments for surezies.
Really?
Yeah. Partially because I want plunders, but partially also just because I think they're good cards, because I'm going to want...
I feel like I only care about plunder if my opponent could also have it.
But I don't know. I like taking my chances. I mean, it depends a little bit on, I guess, the state of my deck, because what I can forge into, and like, can I forge into getting multiple out of the plunder and encampment pile on the same turn, makes me pretty happy to try to do that, I think.
I guess. I don't know.
And
pretty happy would be an overstatement for me.
I can also get extra hunting grounds here and then forge them to get estates, and then the next turn I can forge another hunting grounds with one of those estates to get a province and more estates.
Sweet.
No, but I could actually see forging hunting grounds at the very end for points.
Sure. I guess, yeah, sure. I mean, I would probably get the duchy at that point and try and forge it with a silver, but you do you, man.
If I'm trying to go for this super fast thing and you're going for Scrying Pool, then I'm probably not going for the encampment so much, and I'm just going to like forge down, get enough money to buy province, and then try to buy and mill a province every turn.
Sure. Sounds yeah, sounds likely, reasonable. Yeah. Yeah. So let us know what you think. You can leave a comment in the comments section if you're video listening on YouTube, or if you're not, or you feel like leaving us feedback somewhere else. You can head on over to adamhorton.com. There's forums there, links to lots of contact information, including our Discord server. If you want to check out Wandering Winder's YouTube channel, you can do that as well. Hashtag link in the description, but it's Wandering Winder on YouTube. Just look that up. He has a lot of videos, man.
Putting out
And
multiple
people
videos
watch him a lot.
every day.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff. So, if you like Dominion, maybe you can watch that stuff. Also, a little reminder, IRL tournament coming up just over a month, March 28th. Really like to see you there. Hopefully you can make it. It's a pretty good time. And, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Making Luck. Let us know if you like this kind of thing and you want to hear it more in the future. But we'll probably be back to talking about an in-depth topic for next episode, yeah?
I would assume so.
So thanks for listening.
I want to know what love is.
Yeah, and who do you want to show you?
No comment.